Her silver sedan sat in a corner of the Honeymoon Island lot. Driver's door ajar, keys in the ignition, a canvas shoulder bag on the passenger seat. In the sand nearby, overlapping chaotic footprints and a torn piece of dark blue jeans with a small blood stain on the hem. It was April 2008, Clearwater, Florida. For 15 years, only surf and rumor, until preserved DNA and forensic genealogy finally gave investigators something to chase. But before we dive into this case, I'm curious. What true crime stories have you heard about in your town? And when did they happen? Drop it in the comments below. Let's see how many local mysteries are still out there. Route and clock. 20-year-old Elena Vargas, a USF marine biology student, leaves her part-time coffee shop shift on the evening of April 12, 2008, and drives toward Honeymoon Island, a place friends say she went to breathe with the ocean. The next morning, her seat in class is empty. By midday, she is unreachable. That evening, her family reports her missing and patrol units retrace her usual route. Within hours, officers locate her silver sedan in the island parking lot. Driver's door slightly ajar, keys still in the ignition. Vehicle tableau. No suitcase, no travel prep. Her canvas bag rests on the passenger seat with books and a notebook, the everyday cargo of a student, not someone leaving town. The car shows no crash damage and no forced entry. It looks like a stop that should have lasted minutes. Ground truth at the lot. Flashlights sweep the sand, chaotic overlapping footprints with no clean direction of travel. An officer recovers a torn piece of dark blue jeans caked with mud, bearing a small dried blood stain on the hem. The beach is secured, canines work to the water's edge and stall where tide meets shore. Divers search the shallows but find only debris and seaweed. Rising water and surf erase fragile sign. Found, not found. Found. Sedan with door ajar and keys in place, canvas bag with study materials, chaotic footprints, torn, blood-stained denim. Not found, a note, packed belongings or signs of a planned trip, a clear outbound footprint trail. Any witness placing Elena beyond the lot that night. The constellation. Valuables and schoolwork left, door open, keys left, contradicts voluntary departure and accident narratives. Working window. The practical opportunity sits between her evening departure and the overnight discovery. Hours, not days, on a shoreline where wind, tide, and foot traffic rapidly degrade trace. The scene reads brief contact near the car with minimal dwell, followed by the ocean erasing what little the sand tried to keep. The canvas bag wasn't luggage, it was homework waiting for a morning that never came. The logbook captured GPS coordinates, an item list, and a sealed paper bag for the torn denim. At home, her parents watched the tide line in the dark and dialed the same number again. Accident or walk into the surf? The sedan is found in the lot, not stuck on sand or shoulder. Driver's door ajar, keys left in the ignition, canvas bag with books on the passenger seat. At the waterline, canines trail to surf and stall, and rising tide erases surface sign, but there is no intact outbound footprint track from the car to the shore, and no personal effects scattered along the approach that would mark a voluntary night swim. Conclusion. The car tableau and lack of a clean track line argue against a simple, self-directed walk into the water. Voluntary departure/trip. Inside the vehicle, school materials, everyday items, no luggage, no note, no withdrawal of belongings. A planned leave typically presents with taken essentials and a secured car. Here the door is left ajar and the keys remain. Conclusion. Voluntary trip is inconsistent with property left, car state, and routine. Ride with an acquaintance. A consensual pickup usually looks deliberate. Engine off, door shut, bag taken, sometimes a text or call. Instead, the scene reads, back in a minute. Keys in place, door cracked, bag on the seat. The overlapping chaotic footprints near the vehicle do not resolve into two clean departure lines. They present as brief, close-in movement that the next tide softens beyond interpretation. Conclusion. No corroboration for a measured handoff. Random beach altercation. The sand holds chaotic, overlapping prints and a torn piece of dark blue denim with a small blood stain on the hem. That is compatible with brief contact near the car rather than a distant struggle. However, wind and surf quickly degrade directionality, and by first systematic passes, the patterning is already compromised. Conclusion. The physicals support near-vehicle contact with minimal dwell, not a protracted fight. Early laboratory constraints, 2008. The torn denim is bagged and sealed. Surf-washed sand offers poor latent trace survivability. The lot lacks meaningful CCTV for night hours. Any biological stain that size is serology first, with limited DNA yield by period methods and uncertain CODIS value. Hence the need to preserve for later rework rather than exhaust. Conclusion: identity is deferred. Preservation becomes the strategy. Working window. She leaves work that evening. The sedan is located overnight in the island lot. On a shoreline where tide and foot traffic rapidly erase sign, the practical opportunity is a short interval near the car between arrival and the first tide cycle. Conclusion: the evidence that exists, and what should exist but doesn't, favors a brief, third-party contact at the vehicle, followed by rapid loss of surface trace to wind and water. The canvas bag wasn't luggage. It was tomorrow's homework, waiting in a seat that never warmed again. The intake log lists GPS, item descriptions, and a sealed bag for the torn denim. At home, her parents keep the porch light on and watch the tide erase the only footprints they were hoping to follow. Community response and grid. Through the night, deputies, park rangers, and volunteers sweep Honeymoon Island trails, dunes, and the beach approach roads. Canines work the lot, sandline, surf, and stall where tide meets water. Divers clear the near shore. A shallow water skiff runs parallel to the bar. Nothing linked to Elena Vargas turns. By first light, the silver sedan is documented in place. The torn dark blue denim with a small blood stain is paper bagged and sealed. Overlapping footprints around the stall lines are already degraded by wind and tide. What the 2008 file actually preserves. Film digital mix produces a basic photo set of vehicle position, door ajar, keys in ignition, and item placements. The lot's GPS and time are logged. The denim fragment is sealed in paper. A short list of witness contacts and officer notes is filed. There is no useful CCTV covering the lot overnight. Beach lighting is limited. Latents on exterior handles are weak and water affected. The canvas bag with study materials is inventoried and returned. The photos, intake sheet, and the sealed denim becomes the evidentiary spine of the case. Parallel canvas. Detectives retrace Elena's day. Coffee shop coworkers, classmates, and the drive route toward the island. Calls to regular beachgoers yield no reliable sighting of Elena beyond the lot that night. Payphone or convenience store hits are negative. Traffic into the park after dark is sparse and leaves no durable trail to a second vehicle. The working picture remains brief near-vehicle contact in a narrow window between arrival and the first tide cycle. Why it goes cold. Shorelines are evidence hostile. Wind, tide, and foot traffic erase directionality, night lighting is poor. Whatever story the sand held is gone by morning. The stain on the denim is small. 2008 methods prioritize serology, with uncertain DNA yield and no immediate CODIS path. The lot offers no video to anchor a suspect timeline. With no body, no confession, and no second scene, tips devolve into rumor. The file is re-inventoried more than reworked across the next decade. Preservation and custody. What endures into the 2010s? 1. The sealed denim. Paper bag, original seal lines intact. 2. The photo set and GPS time log. And 3. The narrative and canvas notes. A later cold case audit barcodes the packet, photographs every seam, and confirms continuous seals on the denim since intake. That combination, preserved biology and clean custody, is what earns the case a lab slot for low-template DNA rework and genealogy. On paper, it's a GPS coordinate and a paper bag. At the shoreline, it was a canvas tote waiting for a morning she never met. The report closes with vehicle secured, denim sealed, negative surf search. At home, her parents leave the porch light on and watch the tide erase the only footprints they hope to follow. What actually survived? The 2008 packet is slim but decisive. The sealed paper bag with the torn dark blue denim bearing a small dried blood stain. The photo set, car position, door ajar, keys in ignition, and the basic canvas notes with GPS/time. A cold case audit in the 2010s barcodes the packet, photographs every seam, and confirms continuous seals on the denim since intake. Exactly the custody you need before touching low template biology. Low template DNA rework 2020s. Under a clean hood, new craft, dual initials on reseals, the lab trims the stained hem into microcuttings. Serology reconfirms blood. qPCR shows low quantity human DNA with a male target present. A mini STR run returns scattered alleles, not CODIS loadable. To conserve what remains, the lab builds a low-input SNP library from the strongest extract. Metrics: call rate about 92 to 94%, mean read length 120 to 150 BC, heterozygosity consistent with a single contributor. Family and first responder eliminations are negative. Process controls are clean. Uploads and guardrails. The SNP profile is uploaded to GEDmatch Pro and FTDNA LE under Violent Crime Policy, opt-in only. The audit packet records case type, consent basis, upload timestamps, and access logs. Within a day, the dashboards return workable kinship. Several third, fourth cousin matches and one second cousin once removed class hit. Cluster analysis points to a common ancestral couple with roots in the Tampa Bay Pasco-Pinellas corridor, consistent with the scene geography. Tree build, geography, age/sex. Genealogists triangulate the match cluster to that ancestral pair, then prune forward through obituaries, voter rolls, city directories, and property listings. Filters narrow to males aged 18 to 45 in April 2008, with residence or employment that plausibly put them on Honeymoon Island at night. Shift work, service calls, beach-adjacent housing. The living branch collapses to 3 adult males. One verifies out of state that week. A second is deceased pre-2008. The third remains local with night access to the island corridor. Cross-checks against innocent transfer. Investigators address alternative explanations for a male profile on the denim scrap. Tourist crowding, responder handling, later contact. The seal photos in chain entries show the fragment paper-bagged at intake and never reopened until the cold case bench. Negative eliminations for family and responders reduce handled-in risk. The single-source nature of the profile argues direct contribution to the torn hem, not ambient lot contamination. It doesn't name a person, but it justifies targeted confirmation. Deliverable to detectives. The lab returns: A sourced family tree to the MRCA. B, a short list worksheet, some point 3 living males, with age, address history, and 2008 employment route notes. C, the upload audit packet, policies, call rates, shared CM tables. And D, a confirmation plan. Obtain a lawful discard from the shortlist primary and compare by STR to the denim hem source, holding a reserve cut for court. This pivots the case from genealogical inference to traditional proof, which the next block covers. For years, it was just a torn scrap in a paper bag. Under a swab, it became a voice that said, someone else was here. The notebook fills with call rates, CM clusters, and upload logs. At home, her parents still keep the canvas bag by the door, as if a morning class might start again. From lead to target. Genealogy returned a short list, not a name. Only one living male on it was A in the 18 to 45 band in April 2008, B, tied by residence and night access to the Honeymoon Island corridor, and C, still local into the 2010s. Detectives treated FGG as a lead, not proof, and shifted to conventional corroboration. Surveillance, lawful discard, reference. A static team documented the subject's late evening routine for several days. On day 5, they collected a lawfully abandoned drink container with visible saliva residue, sealed it blind, and submitted it for STR testing. Result: a full single-source male profile. A reserved cut from the denim hem extract was then typed. Comparison showed concordance at all callable loci. Mixture tests were negative on both the denim source and the discard profile. A court-ordered buccal swab reproduced the discard STR, closing the loop from genealogy lead, discard, reference, in-case trace. For charging, the lab expressed match strength simply: RMP less than 1 in 10 to the 12th, LR less than 10 to the 9th for same source versus unrelated across major U.S. population groups. Access and context, independent corroboration. Employer rosters, address history, and witness statements place the subject on or across the island corridor at night within the relevant window. The lot had no useful CCTV in 2008 and beach lighting was limited, but the combined records, work schedule, route habits, and local presence corroborated opportunity independent of DNA. The genealogy upload remained an investigative pointer only. The identification rested on STR confirmation to the denim hem source. Arrest and charging. Arrest occurred at 6:12, weekday, residential curb, no force. After Miranda, the subject made limited statements. Prosecutors built the case on 3 pillars: identification, STR match between the denim hem source and the reference buckle, statistics as above. Access, opportunity. Employment and route documentation consistent with night presence on the Honeymoon Island approach. Corroboration preserved custody on the denim, continuous seals, negative eliminations for family and responders, and the single source character of the hem profile, reducing innocent transfer arguments. FGG uploads, GEDmatch Pro, FTDNA LE, were documented as lead only with a preserved audit trail type, consent basis, timestamps, access logs, not the standalone basis for probable cause. The match did not crash in with noise, it clicked, and a wind-scrubbed parking lot finally had a face investigators could say out loud. Technical closeout. What was tested? Denim hem micro cuttings, low input snip to target, STR confirmation, lawful discard container, STR, and confirmatory buckle, STR. Thresholds. Snip call rate about 92-94%, discard buckle snip, hem full STR concordance, mixtures negative on the primary trace, chain of custody intact on legacy seals and new reseals. Why probable cause was met, an independent STR identification to an in-case source, plus documented access to the corridor in the operative night window, genealogy used solely to aim the proof. The evidence clerk pressed a fresh seal and logged the case number. At home, her parents set the canvas bag back on its hook, homework inside, tide long gone.